Hi, I'm Edward Lukasek, and I'm here to tell you about the current exhibition in the M.D. Anderson Library called LGBTQI Literature, Celebrated Classics and Contemporary Works. I am proud to say that many of the books in the exhibition come from my donation to the M.D. Anderson Library Special Collections entitled Edward Lukasek Gay Studies Collection. I actually worked in special collections from 2000 to 2006. I was processing books at the time, and a collection had come in from the Norma Lee estate, and it was 500 books or so of lesbian and feminist books and papers. And at the time, I was really blindsided by the fact that these books and titles were things I never heard of. And so as I began processing them and learned about them, I was actually thunderstruck by the fact that I myself have a complementary collection of books in my own home that would really work well to fill out this kind of collection here at the University of Houston. The exhibition contains material starting with pre-Stonewall through contemporary today's literature. Pre-Stonewall means before the Stonewall riots in New York City in June of 1969. One of the earliest works in the exhibition is a second edition of Oscar Wilde's The Picture of Dorian Gray. Now we know the story about how the portrait of Dorian Gray gets older and uglier and more sinister, but we actually don't know what it is that Dorian is doing. Oscar Wilde insinuates what's going on, and that was sort of the trend then, to let your imagination fill in the blanks, so to speak. Other things in the exhibition from pre-Stonewall would be, of course, Evelyn Waugh's Bryce had revisited, James Baldwin, Giovanni's Room. City of Night was even more controversial in the fact that it described John Rishi's life as a hustler as he traveled across the United States. And at this time, using much more explicit language. It was banned, it was praised by certain people, but it opened up the door to a much more honest approach to writing. Regarding pre-Stonewall lesbian literature, probably the most interesting item in this exhibition is Orlando by Virginia Woolf. This is a story of a person that continues to reincarnate in one gender and another. This was very progressive in 1928 when it was written, and sort of foreshadows the current interest and necessity for understanding the concept of transgender. After Stonewall, the political movement arising from that created a lot of journals and politically related materials, and eventually within the late 70s, 80s, particularly in New York, there was a group called the Violet Quill, fellow writers who met together in their homes or apartments and read to each other. And many of these writers have become famous and have continued to write. I invite you to come and see the exhibit starting on June 20th, running through September 26th.